The second YouTuber tribute that I'm going to be doing for this month is on another wrestling channel, Pllana Productions, a YouTube channel that I've been watching about several months, including from last year from now, and as of now, his videos are continuing to get a lot more better with each video that he uploads, despite most of the views that he gets depending on what video it is. So Pllana Productions is obviously a WWE and an AEW fan, while also watching wrestling from the past. But unlike other wrestling videos I've seen, his videos on describing the character, the wrestlers, and the shows itself is something that people should probably watch, especially the moment where WWE ruined a wrestler like Ricochet and Kofi Kingston, because these are really one of these videos that people probably know how these wrestlers got really buried and how they're not going to recover from, but believe me, these videos are actually kind of important on how the wrestlers aren't getting the push that they deserve, especially the fact that it just continues to get a lot more depressing with each wrestler getting buried constantly again and again, which is something that really makes Pllana Productions a lot more unique, because he completely makes so many interesting videos discussing on the drama of the wrestling community, while also looking at the positives of each show from WWE and from AEW. Believe me when I say this, is that when you actually see someone who isn't really toxic when it comes to the opinions, taking it way too far, he really isn't that at all, since that he's trying to be a lot more respectful, because he made a video on why we completely suck in the wrestling community. Well, not completely 100%, but still, while also making the video about the drama in the wrestling community. Believe me, these are videos that people need to see in order to actually tone down the insane amount of hate on anything that happens. Granted, when it comes to stuff that WWE does wrong, like the Fiend from the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view and the Super Showdown pay-per-view of this year, that's something that we can obviously go against. But when it comes to stuff where people went to commit suicide, which was a female wrestler that committed suicide in May of this year, that is something that we should never go too far, especially that she was in her early 20s, and then when this happens, she really doesn't have a future since that she committed suicide. That is something that people really need to listen from this guy in order to actually see the situations and consequences of what's going on in the wrestling community. As for his opinions on the wrestling, that is, well, most of his statements are mostly correct. Like in his AEW review. Not saying that it's terrible, and the fact that I can understand that it's the best wrestling show in 2020, obviously, but his opinions on less pay-per-views and stuff like that is mostly right. Well, for one, I can understand that WWE is just hammering in so many takeovers from the UK division and the NXT division, and when it comes to pay-per-views, were those like 12? It was good in the early decades of the 2010s for WWE, but when it comes to the SmackDown and Raw brands, I will admit that it was a bit too much, but they can still tone it down and keep the brand exclusive pay-per-views. My point is that even if AEW had multiple pay-per-views per month, I would say they would still do a better job on focusing so many talents that they have in the back. And I can understand Pllana Productions has an opinion on how less is more, which does actually kind of work, but in the 90s and 2000s, well, multiple pay-per-views for 1 month is a good idea. Is probably the best choice in order to make more money. I mean, just look at what TNA did in 2013, where they left the Impact Zone while using the money to go into those venues that didn't actually help them gain the monies back. I can understand that it can actually work with AEW, but TNA was something that people should take inspiration on just trying to have better booking while also trying to actually have so many pay-per-views in order to make more money. That is the point of a wrestling business. Have at least 12 pay-per-views for once per year so that you can actually make money like that. Granted, Pllana Productions can actually see otherwise when it comes to the booking and talent that AEW has, but when it comes to WWE, even though that they're not really, even though that they're consider a company that people just cannot stand at being number one all the time, they still use multiple pay-per-views because it's really important for the money that they need to earn, especially that they have a streaming network that just began 6 years ago. But that doesn't mean his opinions on the information that he sees in WWE is awful. Granted, some of the videos that are meant to be true, like his SmackDown Sucks on Fox video, really made me be depressed because SmackDown was my favorite show from the WWE. I really think that he really does his best to actually try to actually make a good explanation of what he feels about this kind of stuff. Because as far as I'm concerned, this kind of development really works for what he actually sees if he actually does take over WWE. Because let's just say this, he makes videos if Kurt Angle or Jeff Hardy never left in WWE in 2006 and in 2009, because Kurt Angle left in 2006 and Jeff Hardy left in 2009. So I actually see these types of videos. It's mostly interesting, and the booking really makes it a real dream that people just want to see. So if you really ask me to believe that if this kind of stuff happens in an alternative world, it will probably make everyone else happy, including Pllana. So I honestly think that this is the kind of stuff that really works when it comes to making videos. If Pllana puts so much work and time to actually make these videos once in a while. And I honestly think that if he actually took over WWE, we will probably get all we ever wanted and actually see that WWE is actually a top company, and so that people can actually see it as a top company, despite the stupid decisions that WWE keeps making constantly. There's really nothing else I can say about Pllana Productions. He's a really great YouTuber when it comes to wrestling. And he's really doing a good job on actually just trying to make a good video involving the WWE and other wrestling companies. So, if you're a fan of WWE and wrestling, subscribe to him. He will probably accept the feedback from you, especially the multiple videos that he can make but after the time of this recording. So, for this being the final YouTuber tribute involving a wrestling channel, I'm really glad that I actually did a YouTuber tribute on Pllana Productions out of all wrestling channels. Granted, I have to wait until the new year to make more YouTube tributes, but I'll discuss all that once we get into my schedules of October, November, and December. Anyway, I'm Lonely Fanboy for you and Pllana Productions. If you're watching this, you'll probably see my comments on your videos. Do a really good job and you will reach to at least 500,000 subscribers by next year or the year after that. If you're really good at looking at the perspective of wrestling, unlike other toxic fans have did in the past. And I'm talking about haters who take the situations way too far. But I can understand the arguments involving Charlotte Flair.